The plan for today is simple. Service this car. Whoa, 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 slow down. Let's take this step by step. This is my Ford Focus, my daily, and it could really use some attention. So let's give the care it deserves. Maintenance on this car is very simple and not expensive at all. The reason is simple. It's just a 1.6 naturally aspirated petrol engine. No turbo, no direct injection, and it's paired with 5-speed manual transmission. Everything is easy and simple to work on. I bought this car brand new in 2018, and since then I've driven about 115,000 kilometers with an average fuel consumption of roughly 6.8 liters. That's around 71,000 miles and 34.6 US mpg. It's been pretty reliable. It hasn't left me stranded anywhere, and over the years I've really grown to like it. Alright, first thing, oil change. I do it every 10,000 kilometers, even though the manufacturer says every 20,000. I just don't trust long intervals. To loosen the oil filter, we'll use this specially engineered tool from Knipex. Yeah, these are basically just pliers, but they work. A new OE filter. I'm just putting a tiny bit of oil on the filter seal. It's not recommended here, so don't follow my example. Hand tight. That's it. Clean everything. And gently tighten the drain plug. Time to add some oil. For the entire life of this car, I've only been using genuine Ford oil. It used to be called Ford Formula, and now it's Ford Motorcraft. I'm not saying it's the best oil in the world, but for a daily driving car with the regular oil changes, it does the job perfectly fine. Next up, coolant change. The radiator has a drain plug at the bottom, but it drains straight onto the plastic under trays. That's not ideal. So I use this random hose I found among some leftover parts from the Mazda build. Doing this way won't drain all of the coolant from the system. If you want to do it properly, follow the service manual. I also did quite a few steps off camera. I'm also using Ford coolant, Super Plus Premium. According to Ford, it only needs to be replaced once every 10 years, so technically I might not even need to change it yet, but for peace of mind, I'm doing it anyway. The mixing ratio with distilled water is 1:1. under tray back on, and let's keep going. Something to help the engine breathe better. The air filter looks fine, but I replace it regularly, usually after winter is over. And now something for my own breathing. This one is definitely done. I replace the cabin air filter regularly as well, usually once winter is over. It takes a bit of gymnastics to get it done, but hey, anything for clean air and happy lungs. Brake service. The front brakes don't look too bad, but they're already causing quite a bit of vibration under braking. And to be fair, I've pushed them pretty hard from time to time, so I can't really complain. So the entire setup is getting replaced. I've had good experience with this ATE Plastiloop. The brakes don't squeak and the hub doesn't rust. When it comes to daily driving cars, I personally still prefer OE parts, as long as they're still available. They work reliably for a long time, even if they don't offer the highest performance. Slightly restored backing plate, brake disc, and the caliper bracket. Of course, new OE brake pads. And freshly painted brake calipers. As you can see, I went with a matte black finish, which basically makes them invisible. And honestly, I don't see the point of putting bright red Ferrari style brakes on a car like this and turning it into a circus. Let's move to the rear. Hey Ford, drum brakes in 2018? Really? Yeah, bye bye drum brakes. I honestly think these brakes are the weakest point of this car. I've had a few close calls with them myself. My wife actually used to own the same Focus, a pre-facelift model, and that one came with the rear disc brakes from the factory. And the difference in braking performance is night and day. So you can probably guess what's next. A longer brake hose is required. Next, I used this Fabi Bilstein baking plate, but the installation wasn't completely straightforward. The center hole diameter was a bit too small, so I had to enlarge it off camera. The parking brake cable is different on disc brakes. We'll disconnect it for now and replace it later. More plastilube. And finally, the main character of today's video, the rear brake disc. Of course, OE Ford. Caliper bracket. More shiny Ford sticker stuff. Apparently, the sticker adds performance. Ford logo, ATE logo. So am I paying for better brakes or just for the sticker? I don't have a solid answer for that yet. Even more anti-squeal compound. Brake pads. And refurbished brake calipers I ordered from Polish Allegro. Of course, everything in black on black. There's a lot of small parts and work I didn't record, but filming everything isn't really my strong point. Disc brakes also use a different parking brake cable, so it needs to be changed. I need to loosen a few aluminum heat shields and slide them back to gain access to the cable. I'm handling them carefully, since they've become quite brittle over time. The plastic undertrays are coming off as well. To pull out the old cable, you have to snake your way through a few tight spots. It takes a fair amount of patience and maybe a bit of surgeon's hands. I couldn't find a new OE cable available anywhere in stock, and I didn't feel like waiting, so I went with this one from Bosch. And now it's the same jungle all over again, just in reverse. The tricky part is remembering how it was originally routed. Time to fill the system with fresh brake fluid. The manufacturer specifies .4. The brand doesn't really matter, but I went this one from Ford. Access to the reservoir is a bit awkward, but it's manageable. I wanted to try this brake bleeder. As you can see, it does something, but it's not great for a full brake fluid change. In this case, the traditional method with pumping the brake pedal works much better. The downside is that you need a second person to help. I finished the entire process off camera. A lot of people forget that replacing the wiper blades is also part of regular service. I usually do it after winter as well, since they've spent months bathing in road salt. Once this yellow indicator shows up, the wipers are done. The new wiper has this yellow sticker you need to peel off. Underneath is a new indicator, it's black at first, but UV light will slowly turn it yellow. That's your reminder that it's time to change the wipers again. And as a final step, I'm swapping the winter wheels for the summer ones. This will be my second season running these 17-inch Motec Ultralights, paired with Goodyear Efficient Grip Performance 2 tires. This combo weighs just 16 kilograms per wheel, about 35 pounds, which is really 2.5 kilograms or around 5.5 pounds lighter than the original 16-inch wheels. These lug nuts came with the Motec wheels, and after one salty winter they look like this. So I'll keep this for winter use, and for summer I picked up a set of new OE4 lug nuts. By the way, the original lug nuts were rounded off, mainly because they have an aluminum cap on them. That's just how these types of lug nuts age over time. Torque them to spec, and the job is done. This was a re-edited version of the video with the voiceover added. If you'd like to watch the original silent version, the link is in the description. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time with another story.